by God. This is Ben Television. My name is Kayode Okundamisi. It's your program, Politics with KO, Thursdays on this channel, Sky 182. Don't miss the debate by Nigerians and friends of Nigeria on issues surrounding Nigeria from around the world. My name is Kayode Okundamisi.
Hi, good evening and welcome to your show Politics with KO. First off, a big massive apology for the delay in starting the program because we've had a bit of technical problems that we've been trying so hard to resolve in the background. It's sound, and I hope you can hear me very well now, and I hope it's been resolved. So like I said earlier, welcome back to the show. Kayode is back. For his fans who were tweeting me earlier about him, he is definitely back, and we are going to be talking about the Osun State elections that just finished taking place. Kayode went there to get some live reports for us whilst he was in Nigeria, and we are going to be talking about that in just a short while. So without much ado, and just not to keep us too much in here, I'm going to bring in Toby for the news. Hey, Toby.
Thank you, Ngozi.
No problem. I'm sorry about that delay.
It's okay. It's okay. These things happen.
I know. Sorry, I'm going to be like I'm rushing you, but like.
No, let's get right to it.
Yeah?
The news.
Tell us. I know there's what's going on with Ebola.
So the Ebola situation at the moment is Jatta Abdul Qadar has been the third person to die from Ebola in Nigeria. He's a 36-year-old ECOWAS Commission employee member, and he died last week, and that's been confirmed now. A statement's been put out by ECOWAS Commission confirming this. But, you know, let's look at the situation in West Africa at the moment. In addition to Nigeria, alarms have been raised in Ghana. 3 members of Ghanaian citizenship that live in Ghana have suspected Ebola situations. The first is a 16-year-old girl, and the second and the third are both males in their 50s. One's 53 and another's 56. These people were fishing on the Liberian border and displayed symptoms of Ebola. And in addition to that, the World Health Organization has put out a red alert on Kenya. Yes, Kenya, and that's all the way in East Africa. Because Kenya is a major transport hub, there are concerns that Ebola can spread to Kenya, and the Kenyan government have reassured WHO that they have a situation in place, they screen, but there have been comments raised by those flying that they weren't screened when they landed. So we'll keep you abreast of that situation, we'll keep an eye on that. In addition to that, Enugu States, we brought you news on the Enugu States impeachment, but there's been an interesting development. Yesterday, Wednesday, Sunny Onyebuchi, the deputy governor currently undergoing the impeachment process, collapsed. Yes, that's right. During court, he collapsed and was rushed to hospital. We don't have much information. Details are sketchy on the ground at the moment, but the news that we do have is that he collapsed. Proceedings were suspended until 2 p.m. that evening, and as we hear more, we'll be delivering more to you. So that situation is going on, and it's currently in place. Now, moving on, sports. Stephen Keshi, as was announced last week to have signed a contract with NFF, another 4-year contract, approximately worth $7 million a month. But now his representative in the negotiations have come out to refute these claims, claiming that no, he has not signed any contract. Stephen Keshi isn't officially the manager or the coach for the Nigerian football team, and we'll keep you informed about that situation. And lastly, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has now reverted the LASU fee hike. Good news for those activists, those students protesting, facing police brutality, and the fees have now gone back to the former price of 25,000 naira. So that's me for the news. Over to you, Ngozi.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I mean, that's a good news with the Lagos State University.
Kayode also has an activism background, and students pushing for the rights, is, you know, and rightly so. Governor Fashola praised them on their and their civil uprising and the way they did it with such dignity, and grace. So, you know, that's a good news for the students.
The other thing I was going to ask you was, you know, about Onyebuchi and the impeachment.
Yes.
Do you think that that was the whole idea? Like, you know, if he drops down because it's past that, then the impeachment proceedings stops?
Yes, but...
Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate. You don't have to answer.
Yes and no, because the guy, he's under stress. If I was in his situation, I don't know now.
That you're absolutely right. That's fair enough. I think he's going under a lot of stress, and I hope that, you know, they get to resolve that one fairly, you know, and squarely. So thank you very much for that.
We didn't even get time to talk about your Africa fashion show.
Oh, no.
And what you did, but there's time for that next week.
There's time for that next week, yes. So. In the meantime, I am going to bring Kaide back shortly after this break. Kaide, I guess, is going to be here and is going to take on the talks. Did you speak to Kaide recently before he came back?
I did. I spoke to him yesterday.
Okay, I have a reason for asking. I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, so Kaide is going to come back with our guests, and he's going to be talking about the Osun State elections that just took place. Obviously, remembering that we have the main election coming up in 2015, and we're going to be talking about that, what Osun State election means for Nigerian citizens as a whole, and also what it entails for the upcoming election in 2015. So I'll see you shortly. Well, maybe not me, but Kaide will see you shortly after this break. That's all from me and Toby, and we're going to see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Hi viewers, my name is Kayode Okundamisi, and it's still your program Politics with KO. I'm happy you've been in good hands. Ngozi, Gail and Toby, they've been taking very good care of you. Well, I've been away in Nigeria monitoring the Osun State election and also taking part in my own way supporting a candidate in that election. A lot happened in Osun State, and that's why today we said, like we did in Ekiti, we're going to have a review of what happened in Osun State. The election, was it free and fair? Did the APC win in a way that you could say is fair to the people of Osun State? Also, there was the issue of militarization. There were about 75,000 security forces. I mean, I called it garrison election in the sense that even those conducting elections in Iraq didn't need that amount of security forces to let people select those who their leaders. So we're going to discuss that. I've got with me in the studio Bushi. Bushi is a public commentator, and he is going to tell us what he thinks about elections generally, and then we will take that further. And I've said to my producer, Tony, we need to throw the phone lines open immediately because this is your show, and this is one show that we want your voices to be heard, like I keep saying. And we say, let's start the ball rolling. Now, Bushi, election, you're welcome to Politics with KO first. This is your first time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. And before I go on, viewers, we also want to inform you that we've got an exclusive footage of the governor of Osun State, the newly re-elected governor of Osun State, celebrating after he won that election. But let's go deep into this. What was your take on the election that just went by in Osun State?
I don't think it was perfect.
Okay.
And I think most people agree that. But then I think it's been a major improvement since the last elections we've had. I honestly believe INEC is learning from its mistakes, and you can see them correcting flaws here and there. But I don't think anybody expected a perfect election. My personal view is that the outcome of the election was a fair reflection of the will of the Osun people. I mean, you can't deny that Governor Arishola is quite a popular.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between Osun election and Ekiti State? In Ekiti State, you had the same indices. You had a good number of military men coming in. In Osun, I saw SSS, I saw Federal Road Safety Commission, I saw dogs, I saw helicopters, 3 different helicopters actually. Why do you think the people of Ekiti went a different way for the PDP and the people of Osun went for APC?
So I think there are 2 separate issues here. So on one hand, we're talking about the electoral process and the conduct of INEC and the INEC officials during the elections. But then I don't think that necessarily has a direct connection to the way people voted. So people still voted for the candidates they wanted to vote for.
Okay.
Now, I think in Ekiti, people have, this is not my personal view, but people have said the Governor Farami, the governor, current governor, wasn't able to make the same type of connections to the electorate that his opponent did. Fayose was quite popular.
Okay, Bushi. I think I've got a caller on the line, and I don't know where my caller is calling from because I don't have my, I can't see the, just tell me, hello, good evening, you're welcome to Politics with KO.
Yeah, thank you, Kaya. Welcome back from Nigeria.
Thank you very much. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, this is Chooks calling from London.
Okay, Chooks, you are a regular caller. It's nice to have you. What do you have to say on this issue of Osun State election? What's your take on that election?
The issue of Osun and the previous election that is in Ogun, that the PDP won.
In Ekiti State?
Yeah, it's 2 different elections. And it starts showing clear that people are trying to know, are not trying to tell you, this is what I want. I want A and I want B. In any governor or in any president that didn't perform, people are going to vote you out, no matter the level of, if you like, to bring the whole of Al-Qaeda to Nigeria. And what I want to correct is that our political class should remove propaganda. It doesn't work. Like the morning to the election, the morning of the election, Aerofy tweeted and wrote on Facebook that.
Okay, I think we've lost Chooks there. We've lost Chooks there, and Chooks is saying that there are lots of propaganda from all sides of the divide in that election. I can actually attest to the fact that, man, there were some things I read online, and being in Osun, I was wondering where this stuff were coming from. Now, let's talk about this election as it is. How long are we going to continue to mobilize every military presence in the elections? In 2015, we're going to have more than 20 states conducting elections simultaneously. Where are we going to get the men and forces to man those elections if politicians don't get their acts together?
So I think obviously INEC will not be able to resource the level of security across all of the country during general elections that it can on a state-by-state basis. So I don't know that we would have to worry about that problem. But then I think you know, there's been one of the problems we've had in elections going back several years has been the issue of thuggery, and you know, people running away with ballot boxes, the state governments being able to use police forces as their private militia to influence the outcome of the elections. So in one way, this is sort of a rational response on the side of INEC to tackle these problems. But then now people are complaining and saying, we don't want to see so many police officers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I haven't heard, though, that the police guards, the soldiers who were deployed during these elections were becoming, I haven't heard that they were an obstruction to the electoral process. Actually, the voters felt safer casting their votes because of the security presence. Okay.
Okay, we're going to have phone call. I want my producer, I've got some photographs there, and it's the tactics the two candidates had to use to after learning from Ekiti. We had Omishore eating corn, you know, going to buy popcorn all over the place, and I think the people seem to be taking the issues away from, you are going to provide me with water or electricity. Now it's more about how close are you to the people? And it's quite interesting that in Osun State, that played a lot in terms of the way people perceive the two candidates. But now, to that issue of the fact that now you have candidates jogging on the street, wanting to touch the ordinary people, trying to make themselves look like we're one of you, the grassroots politics. And Aregbe Shola seems to be, as at now, the master of that politics. What does that say about our democracy? Because in Ekiti, the argument is not like Fayemi didn't perform, but he was too far from his people.
Yes. Well, for me, I think it's a positive development for our democracy. If you think about it, there is almost this principle at play now that the political class are accountable to the people. There was, for a long time, the experience we had in Nigeria was that the politicians didn't really feel like they needed to court the people. They didn't feel like they needed our votes. I think what's happening now is a sign that these politicians are starting to recognize that votes count. Yeah. And for me, that's a good reflection on INEC. That's starting to say that INEC is doing something positive.
Okay, I'm going to encourage our callers to call in and then send text messages. If you can't get in, the number for the text message is 07951 402986, and the studio number is 0208-808-0693. I've got a caller on the line. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Carlos. I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
First of all, I want to thank you for this program. And another thing I want to say is, it is a pity that Nigeria, the political class in Nigeria, their dynamics and their principle is winner takes all. Winner takes all in every aspect, and they have made politics to be a battleground, which is not. I employ some people like you and other people to educate the masses. It is not about PDP or APC or something. It's about individuals. Because if you look at what is happening in Osun and the APC, you will see that people, they are not voting the party.
Yeah.
The electorates are not voting the party. They are voting individuals. And it's a pity that when the first election took place, a lot of people were complaining about this election. And I told one of my friends, yes, the deal is clear that the people voted their mind. This time around, everybody knows, everybody in Nigeria who grew up in Nigeria, who is up to some level, we know the antecedents of Omishore.
Okay.
We should have, if I'm in Nigeria and I'm voting, I will never vote for Omishore, even if I'm a PDP member. Because you have questions to answer. You need to come and clear Nigerians for the death of Bola Ige. So how can such a person come and stand an election, and because I'm a PDP, I will go and vote?
Okay, Carol, thanks for calling. And you see, we had, and I need to tell our viewers, Politics with KO, we just went in Osun. We made sure that we had access, know all areas. So we're going to. We were fortunate that we were able to, we were the only TV station, Ben TV, and this show, Politics with KO, that got a direct footage of the governor elated, trying to get sort of take in his seeming victory in the election. So we've got this footage for you, and it's quite funny. Just see Aregbe Shola, a man that has been termed as an Islamist. Some people say, he's Boko Haram, you know, he's an Afar. And I just want you to watch this footage, exclusive from Ben TV. That is, I mean, I was actually quite amazed. I mean, I was in the government house and the results started coming in. I just saw a spontaneous reaction from the governor, started singing praise worship. And I was like, okay, I need to capture this for our viewers in the UK. Before I take my caller, what's your reaction to that? I mean,
well, it's clearly elated. I think, so I just want to quickly make a comment on what the last caller, Carlos, said. I think it's one of the things that we focused on for a very, very long time in Nigeria has been getting free and fair elections. But there's a significant part that is underplayed, and that is really in the quality of decisions that the electorate is making. So we find that, I think for me, it is the responsibility of the media to influence the topic of conversation.
Absolutely.
To make sure that, you know, politics, these political positions these guys are applying for are some of the most important jobs in the country. And so it should be the most rigorous selection process. And interviewers are the citizens, the masses. And so it is about making sure that people have enough information about these candidates to make informed decisions at the polling booth. Because it's not just about getting free and fair elections. It's also about exercising your right to vote and making sure that the right people are voted into office.
Okay, I've got Barrister Francis, hold on please. I've got Barrister Oge from Backing, and Barrister Oge is asking, did the votes really count? I've got Francis on the line too. Francis, good evening.
Good evening, Kayode.
How are you and where are you calling from, Francis?
I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead please.
The issue of maybe politics of buying popcorn and clapping hands doesn't work. I am from Imo State.
Okay.
2011, the former governor of Imo State, Ikedo Hakim, when the election was declared inconclusive, he started going to common man's area. He was going for night vigil. That wedding, burial wakekeeping. That's how we call it in Igbo land. Burial wakekeeping. Or Hakim was attending every burial wakekeeping, trying to be close to what he was rejected. See, and the APC and PDP, the APC should not say we have won, or PDP should not say we are losing. The battle is just like you playing at Wembley, where you will play the whole of 90 minutes and who will lose, we lose. Because by 2015, it's not a game of APC and PDP. We will choose the right people because all of you that are 50 years and above kept us. I am 29 years.
Okay.
For the past 29 years I've been on this earth, I was told in the primary school that I'm leader of tomorrow. Tinubu, Atiku, Obasanjo, all of them, I read them in the primary SS1 as Operation Feed the Nation, the program they did. Till today, they are still in leadership.
Okay.
Either they go or personally I will fund my own Boko Haram and start.
Okay.
Because I cannot
Francis,
lose a poor Nigerian and where my country is rich.
Francis, I want to thank you for calling. I would want to also try and get other callers in, and we appreciate your call. You're making, we need to get rid of the old order and get new people in. I don't know if the next caller is going to agree with you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Where are you calling from and what's your name, please?
My name is Frank. I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead quickly, please.
Yeah, basically, to comment on the recent election in Osun State, in relation to what happened in Ekiti State.
Yeah.
I would like to say that we are forgetting something here. We need to give kudos to the president, Goodluck Jonathan,
Okay.
for his transparency as far as the electoral process in Nigeria is concerned.
Okay. Okay. I think we're having a problem. Even though I can hear you in the studio, but I think our viewers are finding it very difficult to hear you. We're going to take care of that. But let's get, if you can speak louder, please.
Yes. Basically, we are all talking about the fact that the election in Nigeria is becoming more transparent.
Yeah.
But we are missing the point that somebody is responsible for making transparency happen.
Yeah.
Goodluck Jonathan has promised to sanitize our electoral processes and sanitize the elections in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And when the PDP won the Ekiti State,
Yeah.
APC supporters and APC governors were all over the place criticizing, talking about rigging and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now they have won Osun State. I'm just wondering whether they're going to appeal or protest. Because the fact of the matter remains that in the politics of the past in Nigeria, Osun State was a state that could have easily been rigged by PDP.
Okay.
The result was such that it wasn't a landslide for APC. There was a possibility in the past that Osun State could have been won by PDP.
The election to go well, like the military you see everywhere,
Yeah.
it's not for the PDP. It's to protect everybody, to make sure that people move about and they vote whoever they want to vote. And the one thing I observed from the last election and this one that was conducted was that the people now know that their vote, with the vote they have at hand, they can decide whoever will be their leader.
Yeah. Okay, so before, sorry to cut you in short here. Yeah. Do you think President Jonathan has performed better than those before him in terms of he has conducted elections in places where his party has lost, and it seems in this particular case he congratulated the APC for winning. Do you think he's clear ahead of, say, Obasanjo and all the other ones?
Very, very much clear. Very, very much clear ahead. Goodluck Jonathan has been very, very transparent on the issue of a clean election. If he wants the party to rig the election, they will rig the election. Because he's the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Yeah.
So the truth is that he wants the people to vote whomever they want to be their leader. But one thing I have to point out is that whether you like it or not, the people now know whom they want to vote for. If you like, you can go and buy your water with them. Somebody said something about the last governor in Imo State. That was very correct. At the end, the people voted for whom they want to vote for.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
All right, just go. Lastly, because you're calling from Italy, so we're giving you more time. So, lastly, what's your take? Do you think we should hope for the better in 2015?
Very, very much better, Coyote.
Okay.
The truth is that the party will not, the elections will not go on the party side.
Okay.
The people will put in whomever they want to put. You will have various governors from various parties. From the state you don't even take.
Okay, thank you thank you so much, and thank you for calling. And that's an interesting bit, that people now would no longer look at political parties but individuals, and that's the way forward in the country.
Well, I don't necessarily think that is a positive development.
Okay.
I think we've always had this principle of the big man and individuals. When countries progress and develop in their democratic life, what they do is they institutionalize. It's not just a question of individuals, it's a question of an ideological consensus within a certain political party. So that you know that if I vote APC today in Nasarawa State, the APC governor will perform just as well as the APC governor in Lagos State. Because there is a general ideological leaning of that party. Okay. The danger with voting individuals is that there isn't control.
Yeah.
If you think about the traffic light system, if people here learn how to drive and they drive properly, once you take away the speed cameras and all the checks and balances, people start to behave any way they want to behave. So I think what the political party does is it provides a structure to keep the politicians in check, because at the end of the day, they are human beings.
Okay.
So we want to make sure they're grounded in their political parties.
Okay, I've got, before I take the call from Croydon, I've got this very interesting text message I think I should read. It says, it is a pity to say that all Nigerians are corrupt, including you people in the studio. That's Bola. Bola didn't just stop at that. He or she said, the issue we need to address is the impact of the fruit of democracy on the people. Shaking hands with the people at the grassroots is just a deceit either on the part of Aregbesola or Omishore. Bola, I don't know about the Nigerians you relate with, but I raise my head tall to say I am not corrupt, and I know lots of Nigerians who are not corrupt. I don't know the Nigerians you meet, but on the part of the fact that the people need to actually, politicians need to actually do and deliver rather than deceive us with shaking hands and eating popcorn. Let me take Croydon. Croydon, good evening. Where are you calling from? Sorry, John from Croydon. Yes. Where are you calling from, Croydon? Are you one of the corrupt Nigerians Bola is talking about?
So the issue of corrupt, I'm not coming on it. I just want to respond to most of the callers.
Okay.
Regarding Jonathan issue.
I can hardly hear you, John. If you speak louder, please.
Are you hearing now very well?
Okay.
Are you hearing now?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
You see, for the issue of Jonathan has performed regarding election, no, I disagree.
Okay.
Jonathan wanted to rig the election, but it is the people that spoke that no, we will decide who we want. For Jonathan to involve soldiers in a democracy, all the people that are calling, I believe they are living here. If the government in this country to bring soldier out, how will they feel? Soldiers don't train to shoot for you to be taken to hospital. They shoot to kill.
Okay.
If there is little, let's say there is just little disagreement in the polling unit, they will shoot.
Okay.
The wrong shooting.
Oh, okay. I would want to say, if you hold on a minute, don't go. I've got a tweet, an official tweet by the APC in the United Kingdom, saying, tweeting to the program. They say, we disagree with the last two callers. That's APC United Kingdom. GEJ deployed soldiers for the sole reason to influence the election for PDP. But thank God the people of Osun State saw through the deceit and they took ownership of the election and defied the invasion of their state by voting their candidates. That's an official statement by the APC United Kingdom. And that's to show that your show gets... Yeah, go ahead, finish, please.
See, let me be honest to you here.
Yeah.
The Nigerian system, the way all of us wanted it, the Nigerian system cannot be like that at the moment.
Okay.
I believe most of the people that have been calling regarding Jonathan, by their speech, I believe they are from one party side of Nigeria.
Okay.
And if Jonathan should be removed from power, will they accept it if there's election in their area and they be militarized too? Will they accept it? You see, pinch yourself before you say something out.
Okay. All right, I have to let you go there because we've got text messages coming in and we still got our studio guests here. The first one says, I really support the re-election of Ogbeni Raouf because of all his transforming policies. I'm so happy for the people of Osun State for not voting Omishore. He or she calls Omishore a thug. We don't need to thank the president. Why did he send all those soldiers? He thinks they will rig the way Koro and Fayose did in Ekiti. There seems to be this argument about if what's the purpose of the having such heavy military presence. Let me take you out to Marilyn Oga, the SSS spokesperson, saying a political party attempted to bribe the SSS with almost 140 million. You'd ask yourself, what's the role of the security agents? Why don't name the party, prosecute them?
Yeah. Well, I can't even comment on that because I don't know what the details of that case was. But, you know, I still insist that unless there were specific complaints, and I'm not, you know, this is not me holding brief for the president. Yeah. I'm neither PDP nor APC. But then, you know, unless there were specific accusations of soldiers manhandling or trying to scuttle the electoral process in Osun State, I don't think that anybody can come out and say categorically that the president deployed soldiers to rig the elections. People did not win in spite of the soldiers. I think the electoral process occurred the way it did because of the support of the soldiers, and I think we should.
Sorry to quickly call because we've got this caller from Nigeria, and we just want to give those in Nigeria a chance. Hello, good evening, and we want Ade to hold on from Scotland. Good evening. What's your name and what part of Nigeria are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Tashira Gazama.
Okay.
My name is Tashira Gazama from Nigeria, Abuja.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
My name is,
go ahead. Make your contribution, please.
Yeah, I just want to make my contribution regarding the SSS spokesperson.
Okay.
From my point of view, that woman has been partisan.
Okay.
With her view, she's always spreading propaganda for the ruling party.
Okay.
And with such view, how are we going to be sure that there is level playing field? And she is there to counter insurgency. But if someone like her wants to come out and take sides, so she thinks we will fold our arms and wait until she destroys APC. Absolutely not. We will fight back if she wants to do that, because she is trying to inflame the politics, which is very bad.
Do you believe? Let me quickly ask you, because you're in Abuja. Do you believe when Marilyn Oga claims that a political party was trying to bribe the SSS with 140 million naira, did you really take her serious?
She is a propagandist. I was together with General Muhammad Buhari yesterday.
Okay.
There was nothing like that. She's just a propagandist trying to spread rumor that is unfounded. Honestly, she has been partisan. Even when some boys were killed, some boys, she said there was gun buried there, there was this buried. She was just giving precise statement, but it was unfounded. I think she should look at the complexity of the country and know how to structure her, because Boko Haram now took over Northeast completely. They are raising their flag. We are trying to calm down this thing, but she's trying to make it.
All right, I'll have to let you go. I'm sorry, and we really want to thank you for calling all the way from Abuja in Nigeria. I've got Ade from Scotland. Ade, sorry that we keep you waiting, but before Ade, I've got a breaking news on Politics with KO. President Goodluck Jonathan has ordered the sack of all resident doctors in Nigerian hospitals. It's shocking. Jonathan sacked 16,000 resident doctors in Nigeria for going on strike. And with the Ebola crisis, you would wonder what is happening. The directive was stated in an internal memo dated August 13 and signed by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, L.N. Awute. President Jonathan has sacked 16,000 doctors in Nigeria. That is shocking in the sense that you have the Ebola crisis and the president has taken this decision. Of course, we've always said the doctors should tamper justice with mercy by returning, but sacking 16,000 medical doctors at this moment, well, who knows? The president knows best. I've got Ade from Scotland. Good evening, Ade.
Good evening.
Ade, good evening. First, can you react to this issue of the sacking of medical doctors by Mr. President?
I don't believe that's the next thing to be done by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm not really a politician, but what happened in Osun State last week about the governorship election, bringing down all the military people down there is of no need, because we've got many things that should be reasoned with. About the Chibok girls, the 200 girls, all the military people took down to Osun State to, I think, is politicalized to support the PDP governorship aspirant, which is Senator Yola Mishoye. We've got many things on hand to be done than bringing so many military people down there. They are supposed to be in the Sambisa forest, or what's it called, to bring back our girls, not
parading Osun State. I want to thank you because I want our guests to Nigerians in diaspora, and you live in the diaspora, and the way we treat the issues of elections at home. Don't you think this is now the time for us, and because we've got very few minutes left, don't you think this is the time for Nigerians to reignite the issue of campaigning for Nigerians in diaspora to be able to vote?
So I know I had a chat with one of the House of Rep members, who Abike Dabiri,
Yeah.
A while back, and she was saying that, so their position was that right now we're still at a stage where we're trying to refine our electoral process in Nigeria, and that's priority, because whether we like it or not in diaspora, the people who feel the brunt of bad governance and bad leadership are the people who are actually resident in Nigeria. And so for me, I kind of agree that the priority is getting it right in Nigeria. Because if you cannot manage elections locally in your country, it will be a nightmare to try to get people in diaspora to vote.
Okay.
But I think eventually Nigerians in diaspora should have a voice, because it does affect us.
Okay. I want to thank you very much for coming on Politics
Thank you
with
very
KO.
much for having
It's your
me.
first time. It's not hot today. We're still
Thank you.
back from Osun. We're still savoring the smooth running of election in two states. We just pray that that is the way it's going to go in Nigeria, that in 2015 there's going to be peaceful conduct of elections, and that when people are dissatisfied with the process, they will go to court, as the PDP will be doing in Osun State. It's going to strengthen our democracy. I want you to thank our viewers for staying faithful to this program. In the past 3 weeks, Ngozi has been doing a marvelous job with the team of Tony, Olomu, and Toby, and they've kept faith, because we said we are not going to be doing repeat programs. We're going to sustain it, and we want to thank you for keeping faith, because it's your program. We apologize once again for starting late today. You can't rub this thing off. You have technical problems at some point. Next week, we're going to be with you again. I am back. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi. On behalf of my producers and all the teams behind Politics with KO, I say good night, God bless you, and stay tuned for Politics with KO next Thursday. Bye. This is Ben Television. My name is Kayode.